Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing it super well. So if you saw some of my recent videos and shorts and social media posts, you would know that I have finally launched my online art shop where you can purchase my art prints and stickers, which is so exciting, and I can't wait to see what comes of all of this. So in my last video I talked about showing you guys the kind of like behind the scenes of starting an online shop, and that includes showing you the processes of my art prints and stickers, the designs from like start to finish and everything. So that is kind of what I'm going to start doing. So this is the first one. It is my A4 art print called the garden statue, and here you can kind of see the process of me doing the sketch and the initial design on Procreate. But let me know if you like this format or if you would rather me have the process full screen. But I always start with an initial sketch, and then this is where I can kind of play with ideas or add things that I feel like might fit well, but then I'm still not sure, so I'll draw it anyway, because I always go over the initial sketch with final outlines. So anything I want to include will be in the final outlines, but in the sketch it's just there just in case I want to add that idea to the final piece. I like to toggle the layers off when I'm drawing or sketching something specific, so I don't have them in the way. Then later down I can move or resize things how I need them to be. So yeah, I cannot emphasize enough on how important it is to draw things on layers, please, even for your sketch, because this helps with objects that are supposed to overlap or whatever. But yeah, adding layers will make your drawing process so much easier. So the sketching process and the coloring process, if you're not adding layers when you're coloring in, then I have no idea how hard that must be for you. Well, I can only imagine how hard that would be for you, but make sure you're adding layers to everything. So just quickly, there are some minor details that I've either tried to take out or speed up, because it's really hard to see exactly where the movement is happening when it's really small. But yeah, so here you can kind of see me adding the base colors in terms of the process. This print probably took me about 18 to 20 hours, and that's over the course of like weeks, since I don't just work on prints for like 20 hours straight. So in more of like general terms, it took me about 6 to 8 weeks, as I've been working on all of the shop products simultaneously, because sometimes if I'm not quite making progress with one piece, then I'll work on another design and then come back to the other one like a few days later or even a week later, just depending on how I'm feeling about that piece. In terms of my process or technique, it's not really that specific, other than me obviously mentioning that I'm doing my sketch first, and then I'll do like final outline second, then base colors, then shadows, then highlights, and then details, and then really kind of any final touches or final details at the end. And with my color process as well, like picking out colors, you can see there that I've kind of like added little circles of colors just to kind of get an idea of what colors I want to work together and kind of what vision I have of colors going into the individual pieces and all elements. And of course, I'll make sure to have the links to my online store and my Etsy shop as well, in case you guys want to purchase anything from there. So I wanted the atmosphere for this piece to be quite tranquil. The statue and the buildings are somewhat old and vacant. No one's living there, as you can see by the fact that the windows and the doors have plants, and the sky on the other side, which I really liked because I wanted all the life to come from the flowers and the greenery. I didn't want too much color going on, like too much different colors going on, since I wanted the greenery and the flowers to really stand out by themselves. And then obviously you have the butterflies for like a final detail and like different pops of color, which may or may not have a meaning. So here adding the greenery was where it really started to come to life for me. This was probably my favorite part of the print, just because I love drawing flowers and like leaves and greenery and stuff, so that was really cool. And of course I did draw individual leaves for like extra contrast and depth, so you can actually really see what it is. But for a lot of the greenery, I just made sure to focus on the shadows and the highlights, so you can kind of differentiate between them that way, rather than drawing like individual leaves on everything. One thing about me is that I really struggled with my perfectionist side, especially with like launching a shop, because I knew that obviously the products that were going to be in there, I wanted them to be extra beautiful and really detailed, and just the quality to be excellent. However, I still had to put that perfectionist mentality in its place, because really I could have just kept on going with this print and either potentially have ruined it or just done way too much, because it does have a lot in there already in terms of like the flowers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something I guess I learned about myself, is that I really do know how to manage that perfectionist side of me now, whereas a long time ago I would start stuff and then restart it and then just keep restarting it because I wasn't happy with it. So I'm really proud of myself in that sense as well. And also, even when I've kind of started to add lots of color and lots of elements in terms of like just color, I can still kind of go back and add some sketches on the sketch layer or the sketch layers if I want to add something, because I don't really like freehanding colored things, like, if that makes sense, because it just doesn't really go that well. Like, I need to have some type of outline or guideline as to what I'm doing, so I can kind of make it look how I want it to look, but then also just not be there for ages trying to figure out how I want it to look, or not really have the visuals of what it's going to look like. So yeah, what I'm also trying to say is that there's no hard and fast rules about creating an art piece, especially on Procreate, because whatever works for you, and you can always add stuff and go back. It is harder to add things when you have like a more final piece, and that is why I've mentioned adding layers to everything. But as long as you're adding layers and alpha locking stuff, then really you can just keep adding things and doing things however you want to do it. And overall, I'd say the process was bittersweet, more sweet than bitter, but I really enjoyed doing this art piece, and it just really came together exactly how I had envisioned it, which is always nice. But then on the other side, it's like there was times where I was really frustrated with it and things were just not going how I wanted it to go, but then that's where patience and time and just perseverance comes in, because I'm so happy with how everything came out. So here are the final prints. I got them printed with a third-party printing company called Printwork, and I really love how they came out. Initially, I wasn't happy with the original paper I picked because it just took away a lot of the detail. It kind of got lost. Even some of the contrast wasn't as contrasted because it just kind of muddied it up a little bit. But printing it on a different set of paper really brought the details to life, and it came out exactly how it looked on the digital version. I packed the print with a cardboard behind it just to give it a bit more substance so that the print wouldn't bend too much, and then a compostable cover to put it in so it would protect the print. Here's my cute little pack of stickers that I made for lots of different things. Here you can see the freebie ones at the top, but I designed the product label stickers on my iPad on Procreate again, and then I printed them out and cut them with my Cricut, which I use for all of my stickers, which you will see in future videos. Yeah, so that's the finished product. I'm so happy with how everything came out, and you can purchase this one directly from this video. I'm going to add the direct link to this print, and then below that will be the shop links for the rest of the products and Etsy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this gave you more of an insight on how I designed this and the thought process behind it. Thank you all for the support so far. Keep the orders coming. Make sure to like this video so that YouTube knows that this is good content, and also subscribe so that you don't miss out on any new videos or shop updates, and I shall see you guys in the next one.